Good afternoon. Welcome back. It is Monday, March 27th, 2023. And we have quite a few birthdays and events to cover here. So we're going to just jump right into the deep end of the pool. And we're going to start off with, I'm going to tell you a birthday in advance. Cale Yarborough, born on this date in 1939, because significance of two events. 1977 at the Gwen Staley 400 North Wilkesboro, and 1983, also on this date, the Coca-Cola 500 in Atlanta. Cale won both races, and he was the first driver to ever win in his birthday. So that's pretty significant. Also on this date, 1988 at Darlington Lake Speed, won his first ever career Cup Series race. I highly recommend you go back and watch that race. It's a long race, Trans-South 500, but it's a really, really good one. 1993 on this date, Davey Allison gets his final victory in IROC at Darlington, but he would have one more race left before he was tragically killed in a helicopter crash later that year. 1994, on this date at Darlington, Dale Sr. wins. Not the significant part. The significant part is this was the first race at Darlington that was dropped to 400 miles. So, pretty big event there. Also on this date, 2004, Martin Truex Jr. gets his first career win in the Xfinity, then Busch Series at Bristol. And on this date, 1 year ago, Ross Chastain gets his first Cup Series win at COTA. So a few cardless birthdays for today. Turning 80 years old today, born in 1943, short track legend from North Carolina, Bosco Lowe. Born on this date in 1961, former IndyCar driver Parker Johnstone. Born on this date in 1971, former F1 driver David Coulthard. Born on this date in 1977, former IndyCar driver Vitor Meira. So now we're going to get to some cards. We're going to start off with a crew chief here, longtime Hendrick employee, born on this date in 1948, Mr. Gary Dehart. See, he crew chief there for Ricky Rudd. A couple of nice cards there. Generic Hendrick Motorsports jacket. Worked with Rudd for a few years. This looks like maybe he went to Schrader's team, I'm guessing. Really doesn't, I don't know why that'd be green. Or no, it's Terry Labonte's team, I'm sorry. That would be the Kellogg's, but they just didn't have it on there. There's another nice looking Kellogg's, Gary Dehart, 95 SP? Or 96? 95. Very nice set. 95 Max, Premier Plus. Then we have a 96 scoreboard and a 96 Finish Line Silver Signature, or Silver Series. Very cool there. So he was with the 5 car for quite a long time. We have a Hall of Famer up next. Born on this date in 1939, sadly passed away a few years ago, Maurice Petty. So he's featured here on a few of these Pro Set cards there with his brother Richard. There he is with Richard and Lee. Engine Mechanic of the Year. Maurice Petty once again. And this car was the Petty Enterprises team that Maurice ran in 1985. Ran a few races before the team ran out of money, and it was the only Petty Enterprises, or was the first, not the only, is the first Petty Enterprises car to ever qualify at over 200 miles an hour. So up next, born on this date in 1950, and we're going to rapid fire through some of these, dirt track legend, Mr. Rodney Combs. So you see, this is when he was driving for Richard Petty. How ironic you have all this Petty tie-ins here. Drove for Petty in the Busch Series. There's the 43 car that Rodney drove for a couple years, Lance Snacks. Kind of drove the Evinrude car for a little while in the Cup Series when Jim Sauter went off doing other things. I like the Made in America set, always like that American flag. He did replace Jeff Gordon in the 1 car in 1993 in the Busch Series, but it was not the same owner. It was not Bill Davis. It was a couple other gentlemen that bought that team because Bill Davis moved up to Cup. Nice insert here from 94 Finish Line. Got 97 Press Pass there. So we're just going to rapid fire through these. Rodney was a very capable driver. First career starts came with J.D. Stacy's team in 1982. Got his only top 10 then. I got to watch him in person in Talladega in 86. He ran for Robert Harrington's number 2 team, and he ran up front and led some laps. There is one of his truck starts for Petty, way back when. So you see he does have quite a few cards through a lot of sets. French's Black Flag car. And then, of course, he did help operate the NAS track driving school at Charlotte. I think it was kind of went with Andy Hillenburg's Fast Track. They kind of merged or did something along the lines there. Also born on this date in 1957, modified standout for him, and later on Busch Series winner, Mr. Jeff Fuller. Now this 47 car that you see here, that is the same JTG team that Ricky Stenhouse drives for. All this team eventually would move up to Cup. I'm sure obviously a lot of the crew members and stuff changed, but they maintained their foundation with that 47 number. Back then it was just JTG. Of course, Brad Daugherty came in and eventually added the Daugherty portion to JTG, JTG being Jody and Tad Geschechter. Of course, he did drive the Viagra car for Eel River Racing, was released in favor of Mike Bliss early in the 2000 season. There's a good look at the 47 Sunoco car. Always thought that was a nice looking ride. He had a few good runs in the Busch Series. Just ended up being on the bad end of some deals. Went to drive this number 89 car in the Busch Series with Fiberall and Alarest as a sponsor. Can't remember who the owner was. They had some decent runs, but didn't have the funding, and that didn't last long. He eventually became a start and park driver for a while, and had that horrific crash at Kentucky in the Busch Series. And our final driver here, born on this date in 1939. I've understood he's been under the weather. I don't know if anybody can confirm that. He's been having some health issues, but all the best to him. And I kind of did these. I didn't get a whole bunch of cards, but I wanted to cover his career. Mr. Cale Yarborough, we mentioned it earlier because he'd won the 2 races on his birthday. So I tried to put the cards in order of his career. So obviously the late 60s, early 70s with the Wood brothers there. Then later on in the 70s with Junior Johnson. So that's going to be the first National Cities Travelers Checks car. There's another one, same uniform. Then they had Busch Beer sponsorship come on board. He moved over to MC Anderson's team, the 27 car, Valvoline. Then he moved over to the Hardee's ride with Rainier Racing. Then he had his own team with Hardee's, but then retired. Then his own team. This was taken during the 1991 Legends race at Charlotte. He became a car owner, so had a lot of drivers during the Trop Arctic days. So you see the Trop Arctic sponsorship here. Lost that at the end of 1992. 1993, Bojangles came on board for the season. They left at the end of 93. Fingerhut came on board in 94. They was here for a season. And then RCA, which I don't have one. I thought I had one, but I guess I shuffled it out. They came on board in 95, 96, and then he wasn't really in any sets. So we got some of the other cars that he drove. There's a nice shot of the Wood Brothers car. There's the Car Care Junior Johnson car that he drove in the mid-70s. This is late 70s here with First National City Travelers Checks. Now, this car here, the Bojangles car, I pulled this one out. You see the car in the background. That paint job ran at one race, 1994 spring race at Rockingham. But the car was yellow the rest of the season. Fingerhut, we mentioned that. Don't know if you guys know what Fingerhut is, but it is a mail order catalog. There's a good shot of the RCA car. And I think I had, there's another shot of the Fingerhut car right there. So anyway, happy birthday to all those. I'm almost out of breath here. This is one of our bigger birthday and events. I know you guys seem to like this series, and I like it because it forces me to go through the cards, forces me to go through and find some of these, Cale's a big name, but maybe some of y'all have never seen some of those cards. Same with Maurice Petty, same with Jeff Fuller, Rodney Combs, and Gary Dehart. Happy birthday to each and every one of those, and the folks that had cardless birthdays. So let's keep this moving forward. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come back and see us tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to rip, but we will have something to rip for you. So thanks again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we will see you tomorrow.